Welcome to part two. How are you doing, Terry? I said to you that Conor Ben and Eubank, they're not exactly elite, are they? And a lot of us have lost our minds, haven't we, in the last 12 hours or so? What's going on here? It's not end of world if it gets stopped, is it, the fight?
No, but I think what we need to focus on is the fact that this fight shouldn't be happening. If you just think about it, right? Someone's thinking about short-term money, right? They're thinking about their DAZN money, their subscribers, the money they've sunk into this event, the marketing dollars,
Yeah.
and the fact that this fight won't happen again. You can't reschedule this fight. Versus everyone else who's thinking this will make a mockery of the sport that we love. I think the BBC aren't going to show Born Rivals tonight. I think that's the right thing to do. They're stepping away from it because it's reputation damage. I imagine DAZN will be like, I don't know if we want to show this because after we've stopped slagging off Matchroom and Hearn, we're all going to turn on DAZN and say to DAZN, are you really prepared to show this? Is this what your brand is about? That pressure is going to come on soon if it hasn't already started. So they're going to be like,
sorry, go on. I was going to say, Terry, you're right about the zone, but are the zone already, do you think there'll be insurance for a drug test failure? Because I've seen insurance documents for stuff for sports events, and I've never seen anything for if a fighter tests positive, they get paid out. So Conor Ben basically has torpedoed any expenses, and I'm assuming there's going to be lawsuits, isn't there, if the fight don't go ahead. What do you think?
So the insurance companies won't cover that because Connor's brought it on himself.
They only cover you for hand injuries, head injuries, rib injuries, stuff like that. Physical injuries. They're not for that.
Yes.
Self-inflicted, that, isn't it? Taking gear. So I
yeah,
don't
exactly.
think you cover for that for an event closing. I don't think there is any insurance for that. I think it's just void, isn't it? So, and if they will have insurance on it because Eddie likes to cover his send on it every angle.
So, no, there's no insurance for this.
Yeah,
he'll swallow the costs. So that's why he doesn't want to cancel it because if the board say the fight can't go ahead, and so this is where it gets interesting. If the board say the fight can't go ahead, normally, like if it's for legal reasons, you can kind of claim money back. So if it had happened because of COVID restrictions, you can claim back money that you've spent. But this isn't about that. This is about someone cheating. You have to swallow the cost of this. That's why he wants to keep this going. He doesn't want to pay out that cost. And he's relying on people having a short attention span. And by Friday, no one's going to care. They're just going to be like, I paid all this money for my ticket. I want to see these two fight. And I have a feeling that's where we're going to end up, Russ. And it will just go to show that people genuinely don't care about the things they claim to care about.
Why don't they just
if that's true, just take the drugs.
Why don't they just get at it in a bare knuckler and put it on IFL?
Yeah, but, all that goes through my head now is, do you remember when people were making a fuss online about Conor Ben getting kicked out the WBC rankings because he wasn't part of the clean boxing program?
They've kicked him out in the last 2 hours, haven't they? 4 hours today or something. They took him out.
Again, because remember, he was out, then he was in VADA, so he was back in, and then he was out again. See, that's what happens.
Today, and he's out. Yeah. There's something not right, isn't there, about it all, isn't there? And all, you know what? I'm one of them people, right? When they say, oh, most improved fighter, this and that. Over the last couple of years, we know all the Saints most improved fighters, don't we? But are these fighters juicing?
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting, isn't it? Because these fighters are passing tests. They're obviously very cunning, aren't they? I see, he's most improved fighter this year and all that. They just come out of nowhere, don't they? Now, we're not going to say any names because people can take it wrong way, and if the passing test, there's no proof. But Conor Ben's failed the test, hasn't he? So we can talk about it. What they're going to do to put this right. I personally think the show should be pulled. Pull it. And it's Eubanks anyway. Something's always going to happen with them, isn't it? I mean, old man got put in a nut house today. It said on internet. Did you see that?
It's probably not right to talk about that. We talk boxing, Russ.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, but is that a PR stunt or what? Or is this all part?
I, I'll swerve that just because remember he lost a son, and you never know what a guy's going through. Yeah,
All right.
yeah, good because I'm not afraid to stick it to Chris on things, but that no, I just send him my best wishes on that one.
See, who do you believe? Who do we believe anymore? We all
you. That's who we believe, Russ.
I'm just saying now. Oh, it comes out his mouth. I don't believe it because he were there when they signed for the contract and all that. They all knew the clauses, didn't they, and stuff like that.
I'll tell you the stuff I don't like. It's this idea that Hearn's going to be stepping out and he's going to try and convince us. So by Saturday we'll just believe, mate, what Connor took was no worse than taking a bit of aspirin. That's where we're going to end up.
Similar tonight in an interview, he's done something like that. He would adverse findings. It's not a performance enhancer. What? Well, what is it then?
Yeah, why is he taking it? Like I said, why is he taking something to restart his testosterone system? Number one,
other people don't even test for, and it's legal. And it's so. Have you seen that interview he's done? Softest interview I've ever seen in my life. I expected Kogan to say, "Eddie, what's happened now? Had his own getting rid of you because Ben fights off." But no, it were Eddie were like, "Oh, he'll get it all out." When he watered it down, didn't he? What he did, he pulled his prick out and took a piss on everybody from balcony, didn't he? Penthouse. That's what he did. Again.
But and I like to see people in boxing finally having a voice like Macklin. Macklin's like, this fight can't go ahead. I like this. Then finally people now having a voice. Now that he's not on Sky anymore, these Sky guys are now sticking the boot in. Fair play to them.
Macklin's saying that. Who's the other one I was on about him earlier? Adam Cattrall, the Gad. But we're going to get Tony Bellew. Tony Bellew. Is he going to come out? Darren Barker. People like that. Are they going to come out? Chris Lloyd. Where's their tongues? I don't see their energy. That the same energy they had for Jarrell Miller. Do you?
Yeah, they're up Eddie Hearn's backside.
That energy is gone that they had for Jarrell Miller. I don't see that for Conor Benn. Do you? Not at all.
So, look, this is what Hearn's going to do, Porky. You know this. He's going to start worming it around. So you're going to this is what I expect you're going to hear. Well, the board only acknowledged UCAD, and Conor Benn passed all the UCAD tests. The board don't acknowledge VADA, so they can't suspend Conor Benn based on VADA. And you're like, so what was the VADA testing for? If there's no sanction for a VADA test, what did you have VADA testing for? When is the B sample going to be tested? Apparently people were notified 3rd week in September. When's the B sample going to be tested? Or was it just, okay, just brush it under the carpet? Let's hope nobody finds out. And then after the fight, if it does leak out, whatever.
Aren't they saying end of August, beginning of September it was the last lot of the cycle or something, or these tests or something? Is that what from then, in it?
So I think the test was in August, but I think the guys were notified in September. That's okay. This is going to be
over a month and not said out, and let everybody buy tickets and book hotels.
Yeah,
that's bad, that, isn't it, Terry? That's bad, that, isn't it? I think, if that's true,
I think it's embarrassing.
And they've known all along. It's like, that it were a bit smelly, wasn't it? That happened with Dillian. I know it's a long time ago now, but at least that guy had the balls to deal with it. That what do you call now him? Thomas Hauser.
Yeah.
The famous writer who did Ali's books, didn't he? At least he had the balls to come out, didn't he? Because everybody else wanted to shut him up, didn't they? And Bellew crucified him. Do you remember?
Yeah.
Crucified him. But unbelievable, but nobody's saying the same thing about Conor Benn. They've all gone silent because they learnt from last time, didn't they?
But so Russ, let me go back to when I was not that I was suspicious, but I was convinced that this was all going to go wrong. And did I send you the picture of Dr. Usman Ahmed, that screen grab I had?
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
Do you remember? And that was weeks ago.
Hey, wasn't he involved with Conor Benn?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying to you.
What are you involved with?
Fury.
You know, there's a few of them, isn't there?
Yeah, and remember I sent you that weeks ago. And I said,
With
mate,
the
look at.
guru, winner, the Victor Conte of England, didn't he?
But here's the thing I didn't understand. When the fight was announced, Dr. Uz goes straight on Instagram and he's like, yeah, I'm the doctor working with Conor Ben. So I click on his profile. I'm like, oh, Jesus, you're not hiding this. Do you know what I mean? Like, I was like, you're not hiding this.
Blatant as that. I sent it to a couple of people that, and people were, oh, it's a touchy subject, this and that, and there's no proof and that. And I went, hang on a minute. You've got a geezer here who's a steroid expert, and he's advising all these people, and they're all geeing him up.
But let's look at it practically, Russ. Let's look at it practically, right? There'll be no board officials there. As things stand, there'll be no board officials on Saturday. There'll be no referee. There'll be no judges. There'll be no timekeeper. There'll be no MC. There'll be no OIC, like is it officer in charge, whatever it is, the steward in charge. There'll be none of that. No whip, no nothing.
And all that, you mean, yeah.
And I might be wrong on this. Tony Sims can't be in the corner. No one can be in the corner. So no board license holders can show up on Saturday.
Why not?
Because then they get disciplined. If the board prohibit the fight, I can't go as a coach because it's a prohibited fight. It'll be like me doing an unlicensed corner, Russ. People there, well, hold on, what are you doing? So no one. So as things stand, you cannot have a fight.
That's why Dennis can't do white collar, then, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So how are they going to fight then? They're not, are they?
Unless you fly people in, you'd have to fly people in from like Gibraltar or somewhere. That's their best bet. You fly people in from Gibraltar.
It's an headache for them, isn't it?
Or you fly them in from Ireland, but then that's also a problem politically. Right now, Hearn's best option is an injunction. He cannot get anyone else to do this fight.
But he's got to be. Well, can't somebody else take the reign? No. Conor Ben can still fight though, because the board haven't banned him, have they? Hard to stop the fight, though, won't they?
They prohibit the fight's prohibited.
Well, it's if they can change their minds now. God, if the board changed their mind now, where would that leave boxing in the UK?
It will be a worse U-turn than Liz Truss, is what I'd say.
Why? What's she done?
Remember, they said they want to get rid of that 45p rate of tax. Then they had to come back like 10 days later and go, nah, only joking.
They're not doing it now.
Nah, no chance.
God, they're another one. They make it up as they go along, don't they? Tories.
Yeah.
People keep voting for him, don't they? Do you remember when Boris got in last time, or first time he got in? He won that election. He said, vote for Tories because I'm going to make petrol £1. Now, I don't vote anyway, but I was like, oh, if I did vote, I'd vote for him if he makes it £1 because it's something I obviously spend a lot of money on. And they didn't do it. It went up to £2 at one point, didn't it, in his stint? Over £2. So they tell lies. Like that 365 million a year they were getting NHS, part of that big bust, didn't they, in front of Downing Street? That money never came, did it? It were all lies to get vote, wasn't it? Well, Eddie's just same as them, isn't he? Really, technically. You know, is he?
Just remember, Eddie Hearn's a man who said once a cheater, always a cheater. Yeah. And then he had to take his tail, put it between his legs, and go back to Canelo and be like, I'm sorry. You know what I mean? Like, it's embarrassing. I wouldn't be surprised if you see him work with Jerome Miller again as well.
You're joking, mate. He's never worked with Miller again, Eddie.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, he's racking wins up Miller, isn't he? Against nobodies. He's racking them up, isn't he, fighting waste men.
Hey, listen, a win's a win in this modern era.
What do you think the damage is going to do to Eubanks then if they don't fight? I mean, because they were gagging for money, weren't they, really?
Oh, man, just put Eubank in with Triple G.
He's not going to check that smoke, is he? I don't know. He's older now, isn't he?
Yeah, I think he might.
You think?
Yeah.
Who could they replace Ben with to keep the show going? They can do that now, can't they? They could do it. Who could they put in?
Good question. Oh man, who could you do with right now? John Ryder?
John Ryder. They'll have a plan B somewhere. Surely somebody must have been in camp. You know what Eddie's like? Accountant by name, accountant by nature. He'll have a plan B for both fighters. There'll be somebody in camp being paid some money to train. Who is it? Oh, we just want to see a fight, don't we, this weekend? I mean, let's not have all them people who spent all their hard-earned money on hotels and tickets having to be messed about, because if 20,000 tickets were sold, I guarantee out that 20,000, they'll all be cheesed off, won't they? And do they come back again to Trough to watch boxing? Do they? I'm not so sure, Terry. Because how many more times can fans be kicked in teeth? We've just had it with Fury.
Ah, mate, you're going to get it all the time, mate.
All the time, don't we? But I'm just saying,
mate,
more times.
But boxing attracts those kinds of people. Like, boxing doesn't attract the most courageous of people. I wish it did. I wish boxing fans just had the courage to turn off and say, every boxing fan right now should be tweeting the zone saying, mate, we're watching this. If you put this on Saturday, we're canceling our subscription. That's what people should be doing now. That's how you make a stand. You know, unless you threaten to cancel your subscription, what's the point?
Yeah. Do you think that the geezer who owns DAZN will be happy how this is all panning out? Surely he can't be, can he? Because they needed this fight, then, didn't they?
Until we see DAZN's name dragged through the mud, I think they'll be okay. Once the pressure comes onto DAZN, which should happen in the next 24 hours, then let's see.
Yeah, it's a bit of an odd time, isn't it? But sport now. I mean, the two biggest fights of the year now, Fury and Joshua, has not happened, has it? And what's the other one? Ben Eubank, that's in doubt. And where would the blame lie with both fights? You'd have to say Ben's been made to look stupid, hasn't he? Do you think that Bricktop could have got wind of this a couple of weeks ago and said to Fury, right, get your son out there and let's give him it double whammy? the best earn about with Fury fight and Joshua fight, aren't they? Calling his bluff and then bouncing him about all over, while him were like, his head must have been spinning, right? Taking Tyson on and Bricktop and Bob Arum, all of them coming at him from all angles. Lou DiBella and Frank putting shows on together, and Eddie's head must be spinning. The only person he's got little Frank Smith, and he's not much cop anyway, is he? You know what I mean, Dennis and Scott Brunt gave them run around in Nottingham, so they're playing that game, aren't they? So it makes you wonder if Bricktop got a wind of all this with August, September testing that's gone a bit iffy and everybody knew. Something would have leaked out because Calla can't keep his mouth shut and neither can Eduardo. Something's leaked out, and I think it's possible that Bricktop's for, I'm going to have some fun with these. And Tyson, he's up for out like that, isn't he? I mean, he's off at register, isn't he, Tyson? Let's have it right. But I think they've fried his head between them all and all done it with a straight face to make everybody believe them. There might be a conspiracy theory like Frotch with Flat Earth and that and moon landings. But hey, listen, no surprises me. Listen, and Dennis said this to me a few weeks ago. No surprises you in boxing when Frank Maloney went and did that. So not else is possible, isn't it? Because you wouldn't have said that were possible, would you? Not for Frank or Kelly. No offense, whatever you want to be.
Yeah, look, this boxing's got the maddest stories ever because it's just lawless.
Does it? No, yeah, no surprise.
And that's not a good thing.
No surprise me. I've seen a lot of things. You know, it's but this one's blown my mind because man, I don't juicy. Have we like this for a bit? Have we? I feel like putting Biggie on in a bit juicy.
Yeah, but Hearns painted himself into a corner. All we need to do is just remind him what he said about VADA and what he said about drug cheats. Because
what he said, don't we? He said that I might even have it on my phone. Shall I play it, Terry? Oh, I've turned it off. Shall I find it and play it?
no. Well, you know, yeah, the fans can listen in their own time.
He contradicts himself, going on about certain things with drugs, and then now look, why there's a pound note at stake, because he'll know in his heart of hearts he's got everything covered, barring drug tests if his guy fails. But he had it under control last time, didn't he? Why did what we need to be asking is, Robert Smith, yeah, you, why didn't you pull the Dylan White one like you've pulled the Conor Benn fight? What's been the difference in the last 40 months? He let Dylan White fight, even though he'd failed for a PED, but you're not letting Conor Benn fight. Why not Conor Benn? And why did you let Dillian? That's all we want to know, isn't it? Is it because they were with Sky? And Eddie's now not with Sky, and that he's with DAZN, he's classed as enemy. They couldn't do enough for Hearn fighters, could they, 3 or 4 years ago? Now it looks like they're all turning on him, don't even media.
It's about time. You can't be at the top forever. You can't keep lying to the fans and to the people forever. And this has all got to catch up to you at some point. And maybe this is the slow deterioration. You know, Joshua got smoked. Canelo looked terrible. Now another one of his cash cows is going south. Haney's on another platform doing his thing. Like, what's he really got? Nothing.
Well, who's his best fighter? Joshua, all right? But he's on slide, isn't he? Who's his number 2? Conor Benn. Well, look, he's already on Skid Row now. He'll be in bits. He's a waste man. And he's not won a belt yet. So he's got one who hasn't won a belt, and he's already been popped for drugs. Joshua, who can't buy a win. Can't buy a win and is gun shy. So he's got, what's he going to do with them now? Who else has he got? Shannon Courtney.
Woo!
You know what I mean? Even Dave Allen don't want to work with him now.
Yeah.
So he's burnt all his bridges. This might be his final throw of the dice. The fight might happen. Eddie will batten up the hatches, and because they're getting millions, aren't they? I'd batten up hatches for millions. That's what he's going to do. He's going to put hard hats on and let everybody throw darts at him. He ain't going to be bothered, is he? If he's getting hard at sport. Because if Joshua goes, all stack of cards will come tumbling down, won't it?
Yeah, they need it.
But it's true, yeah.
But look, you got what? I don't know how many subscribers you've got now, Russ. 12,000, 13,000?
About 12 or just under.
If you get everyone to just hit up the zone and say, look, this fight can't go ahead. Do you think this fight will go ahead? Of course it won't. When the zone are trending for the wrong reasons, I promise you this fight doesn't go ahead. If people keep focusing their attack on Eddie Hearn, he'll just deflect that. He's not the important guy here. The important guy is the broadcaster. Yeah. If the BBC are prepared to drop that Conor Benn Eubank special tonight, that's letting you know that broadcasters don't want the scandal. So all you need to do is keep pressing the broadcaster and saying, well, mate, nah, you can't be showing this. Virgin Media, you can't be showing this on your platform. We can't be seen to be acknowledging not only doping, but actually putting fighters in harm's way, because the weight conditions were dangerous to begin with.
Very dangerous.
Adding this, yeah, you're adding this as well. No, we can't do that.
My argument with weight thing was, Eubank were fighting at middleweight, when he was fighting at middleweight, he was getting it ring at 175. Now he's fighting at 157 if he fights. So that's probably £3 less than 160. But they're not letting him go above 162, are they? So he's going to be £13 less. He's going to be, so that's not fighting fighters' interest, for safety is paramount. How can it be when a man's going to be fighting at a weight he's not made since he was 18 years old? He's pushing 33, and he's in the ring, but it's £13 less than what's safe. So Well, I thought fighters' safety were paramount, and Varda and all this, and now Varda is saying it's not safe because Conor Ben's juiced up, and Eubank, they're not letting Eubank put the proper weight on. It's poo and cow pats, dog poo and cow pats, isn't it?
Yeah.
Shit, it's a mess, isn't it? We are at kettle into frying pan, and there's only one man to blame, and that's Eduardo Hills, the 5-0 Iceman from Billy Ricky, free by way of, but there's no footage. All we've got is him knocking Spotty Frank about, and his dad's had a production company 40 years. Peace out.
Facts.
It's true though, isn't it? He's got to take responsibility now. He always says that, doesn't he, in his interviews? He's got to take responsibility. Yeah. Well, he's got to take it now and go, do you know what? My fighter's just popped. And the fight's not safe to go ahead, but we've got a replacement for Chris Eubank, and we're going to make it up to you. That's all he's got to say. But we're not going to charge this much. We're going to charge less. I don't know, a $5 or something. There's got to be some token of we're not charging. Oh, Eubank against somebody in a non-pay-per-view. It's got to be that, isn't it? Because all them people need the pay-per-view money back. But all them that have subscribed, more fool, they should do it on day, shouldn't they? Because
everyone should do that. Like, there's no rush.
You never do it after waiting, do you? You wait on the day. Don't ever buy. It's same with tickets, innit? My opinion is don't get them till day. Don't get them till day. If you want to go boxing, go boxing. People might not like me for saying that, but you know, there's 30-odd% of shows get cancelled. Nobody talks about that, do they? Do you know what I mean? 37% get cancelled. You buy a ticket, it's like a lottery, innit? It's a 1 in 3, innit? It's worse than a 1 in 3, innit? So go on the day if you want to go boxing. Pay for your pay-per-view on the day. It's not rocket science. You don't. I'm going around in circles with them. They drive me mad, mate. It drives me insane seeing this. But seeing the waffle coming out of the mouth, and then them that should be asking these questions, have all gone missing. Everybody's gone missing, haven't they? Hey, Steffi Bull, why aren't you coming out with it and speaking about it? Hey, why ain't Steffi Bull, who's plenty to say about people who failed dope tests? We know, Steph, you've plenty to say. I've been in your company when you've gone on about it. You're silent, but you have plenty to say about Jarrell Miller. You know what I mean? Plenty to say, and there's more than him. I can reel them all off. Where are all these people?
Where's Tony Bellew?
Where's Tony Bellew? Where's he? Where are these people? They've gone AWOL. MIA. Missing in action. Do you know what I mean? Pure waste men, a lot of them. Pure waste men. And do you know what? In a way, I'm glad because everything I've been banging on about for 5 years has come true, hasn't it? Everything. I went berserk on them B samples, didn't I? Fair enough. Might have gone over the top. You know, a gentleman from Kent got me a sweater that said, "Where's the B sample?" Still at Taylor's, but when I get it back, it'll fit perfect. So I went over the top, but it's happened again now, hasn't it? And everything's topsy-turvy, isn't it? Because, like I said before, we'll say it again, there's not the same energy there were for Dylan, is there? For Conor Benn.
The only person I've heard so far who's dared to poke the bears, Shane McGuigan. McGuigan was honest in saying this is bad for boxing.
Yeah, it is bad for boxing. It don't get any worse for boxing. And you know what? I give the Gad loads of stick. He's saying it's bad for boxing, but one person who I did expect to come out and stick knife and remain silent, and that's Adam Smith from Sky. Bean. You know what I mean? Beanie, the beanie man. Do you know what I mean? Adam Smith from Sky's not said that because he does darts, doesn't he, for match rooms? So he's not going to rock the boat. So he's not doing his duty as a boxing media guy, is he, Terry? Do you know what I mean? But them other people at Sky, whoa, they put it on Sky News and lot, didn't they? Well, they're going to do it's news, isn't it? So it's going to be interesting to see what Conor Benn's got to say. Well, he's come out and he already said he's clean, hasn't he?
It hasn't everyone, man. I've seen Florian Marku sticking the boot in as well, so credit to him for getting stuck in.
David Evanesian, as he said, "Oh, hey, listen, that fight could still happen now. I mean, they did him up like a kipper. He should have fought that kid.
But you'd got smoked.
Hey?
He'd have got smoked. I don't think the steroids would have helped him
Carl
against.
Rees trained him, doesn't he? Carl Rees trained
Yeah.
him, didn't he? He should have fought him, David Evanish, and that would have been a good fight. But Conor Benn knew he wasn't ready for it like that. The Conor Benn hype bubble has just burst. He believed his own hype. Do you know what I mean? He believed his own hype, and I really believe that, Terry. He thought he
Do you
could
know my
shoot around thinking he were it. Go on.
I'll give you my theory at the moment. I just think everyone realizes that this bust up we call boxing is headed over a cliff, and everyone's just trying to get all the money they can quickly before this thing just implodes.
Yeah.
And I think that's why this fight will end up happening, because people are just like, we need the money. We're all in the hole so deep. Zone are like, we've wasted so much money on boxing, we may as well get something back. You know, the Sauerlands are like, we're not going anywhere. Like this Wasserman thing hasn't worked out. And meanwhile, Frank's just there going, I'll leave you guys to hang yourselves. You
Well,
know what I
they
mean?
are hanging themselves, aren't they? I mean, Calla, let's have it right. What has happened? Calla, what has happened to you? You talk pure rhubarb. What has happened to you, Calla? You talk pure pony, right? And he's walking around doing these like gad things. He's doing all that, isn't he? And all that. He's turning into like a clone of the gad. I mean, invent your own one-liners and your own body language, Calla. But what has happened to you? Strutting about like you Tony Montana. His head's gone, you know. The clowns, him and that Nissa, you know, and Eddie and all three of the clowns, Silver Spoon Boys. Silver Spoon Boys, mate, that's all they are. They could do prison time. I'd terrorise them in Canteen Q once a week in jail, them three. Oh, 25. I'd be like, come here, you. I'm them Rice Krispies over on that milk. And I'll see you next week. No, seriously, mate. What has happened to Calla and Nissa? Do you know when they were in Germany with the dad and that? Everything all looked like it were a bit like Matchroom, wasn't it? But German version, you know, dad at the helm and family running it. And they were run like Matchroom, like clockwork. RTL, you know, exclusive deal with RTL, like Eddie at Sky One, everything looked good. Old man leaves them to it. Look what we've got. They're running.
Yeah.
They went to that KSI's after party, didn't they? And we're mingling with all that lot. But yeah, what were Calla saying last May in that big IFL spread that he did in limousine? He would have driven him around London in limo, he went back, going on about YouTube and this and that and blah 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 and Tommy Fury and all that. And look what's happened a year later. Hanging out the back of them, Calla. You're that far up KSI's rear. You need to, you're eating his topics for him. Fancy a topic later, but we haven't got one in the fridge. Just fancy, I'll wait for a topic phase, get half of one down me, then another half an hour later. I'm happy, but no, I'm disappointed with Calla. I'm very disappointed, Terry, and I'm disappointed with Eduardo for putting spin on it. It's like desperation stakes, isn't it? I'd have thought Eddie would have just said, let's get a substitute in. Ben's out. He's failed for dope. We've got to show some front here and front it out. And there's still time, you know. And you know what? I go like that. You know what, Eddie? First you're angry and you're upset. Then you look for somebody to blame. Then you need to get Conor Ben in a room and say, Conor, who gave you this stuff that you're putting? And if he keeps denying it, you want to say, well, we need to fit cameras up at gym because somebody's spiking people's drinks. Because if Conor Ben says, yeah, he ain't took no, how's it got into your system, Conor? Did somebody pin you down and put it in me, a needle? Because if not, how's it got in him, Terry? How does this stuff get in you? I mean, you're an expert on this, you and Larry, aren't you?
Just here's the thing that I don't like. VADA are on point when it comes to their testing, right? Yeah. They're generally accepted to be the best in the game. Conor Ben fails on a VADA test. To me, that tells me you had something in you. The fact that you had Clomid in you tells me that you're recovering your body from a steroid cycle. So for him to come out in front of those clowns, Barker and Chris Lloyd, and there are a lot of people in your little goof troop of supporters, Russ, We're big fans of Barker and Lloyd. Yeah, I hope their views change after this because these guys are just out there giving Conor Benn a platform to say he's a clean athlete. I'm like, why? Why are you doing this? Why not just tell him, mate, you failed a VADA test? Everyone else who's failed the VADA test, we have dragged through the mud because we need to for the safety of the fighters. Are they asking Conor Benn about safety, fighters' safety? Are they saying to him, mate, if you fail for this, have you always been dirty? Like, we need to get to the bottom of this. Put Conor Benn in front of some people who ask real questions.
Yeah.
But they won't. You know that. They won't.
Who's going to ask them? Rob Tebbert, will he ask him?
Of course he won't. He's a clown.
No, he's in a position where he can, though, isn't he, really? But he's only just got his company.
He's not. He's not, man. He needs those little crumbs, yeah, to keep his heating on. You know, heating's gone up, interest rates has gone up. He's got bills to pay. He wouldn't dare. You know, these wazzocks like Chris Lloyd and Darren Barker, you know, the bottom feeders, aren't they? Probably.
Though. I'm going to go full steam ahead on this one this week.
It's necessary.
I think people need to get it out of the system and tell their Uncle Big P about it all.
Uncle Big P.
Hello, 11 stone, 10 and a half. I'm struggling to get to 12, aren't I? These last few pounds.
Yeah, once you get to 12, you get to 14. Don't worry about that. Then Spencer Fearon will come knocking again.
I know, I better stay at 12, man, with Spencer's left jam on. I bet he's got a right jam on him, Terry.
See? Yay.
I know.
But
go on, sorry.
But I'm saying to everyone, make sure you put the pressure on DAZN to cancel this fight. Ignore everyone in boxing because they don't care. And these clowns with the microphones and the cameras, they don't care. DAZN do care. If they start getting 200, 300, 400 tweets, where are all those trolls that hammer you, man? Why can't they hammer DAZN? Why can't they do something productive with that energy for a change and just go and hammer DAZN? Leave Russell alone and go and hammer DAZN.
I could cope with that. My followers. I don't know. Listen, them will have a dig at me on asylum. They're all good boxing people. They'll set about these this week. But only people I have a problem with them email ones that mention my children. I don't like that. Other than that, I'm all right. But no, I just hope that everybody gets stuck into zone and says, well, look, are you going to get a replacement for Ben? And let's get the show on. So we've still got something this weekend, isn't it? You know, that's the main, isn't it? And Ben and the Eubank don't get not paid or misses his pay. They want him to get paid. Obviously, he's put his camp in. He's had to take a lot of weight off, hasn't he? If Conor Benn's been cheating, he should be punished, shouldn't he, really? Like everybody else and not fight. It happened to Jarrell Miller. He lost $7 million, didn't he? Which was more than Conor. He took it on chin and come back. Conor's already a millionaire. Take it on chin and come back. We'll finish off on this then, Terry. 1 minute to go. Does the fight happen this Saturday between Ben and Eubank Jr., yes or no?
Yes.
Right. Does it happen on a British Boxing Board control show or Luxembourg?
It can only happen on the British.
So they're going to board are going to backtrack then, you think, yeah?
I think so, yeah.
Will it be the biggest backtrack to ever do the backtrack flip in
sport? Yeah, it would be an absolute embarrassment.
I think it's UK sport, you'd have to say, wouldn't you, really?
The Super League comes close, but this just for how they had him banged to rights and they bottled it.
Right. Okay, then. Well, listen, you have a great evening. I know you've been training tonight. You'll want to get a shakedown, get your head down, won't you?
Yeah. All right, mate.
Okay. Well, listen, you take care, Terry. All the best.
You too, mate. Speak to you soon, mate. Bye.
Bye. Bye. Well, that was Terry. Thanks for coming on, Terry. That was great. Terry's more of an expert than me with performance enhancing drugs. I'm not an expert in that field. I don't like to see cheating, and I think everybody should get dealt with. It's the same across the board. All right. Let me know what you think in comment section. Don't forget to share it and like it. Peace out.